Honorable Chief Justice, Justices of the Supreme Court, Judges of the District Court, Samoan Judges of the Lands and Titles Court, the Acting Registrar of the Court, Honorable Ministers of the Cabinet, President of the Samoan Law Society, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family. It is an honor and a privilege to say a few words to farewell our Chief Justice, Patu Falefatu Maka Sapolu, who has been at the helm of our judiciary since 1992. This is over 2 decades of service and judicial stewardship. Equally, it marks a momentous day while we reflect on the many years of service as our judiciary and our people move on to a new beginning. I start first with his time as a public servant. Prior to joining the bar, his Honor's extensive career included many years of public service. After graduating in 1975 with a Bachelor of Arts, a Master's of Arts with honors, and a law degree from the Auckland University, his Honor started as a public servant as a legal officer with the Office of the Attorney General in 1976. By 1982, Your Honor has become the Secretary of Justice, which was the forerunner for the current MJCA. You spent some time in private practice before you returned to public service in 1984. In 1984, Your Honor took the post of Attorney General. And I noted in our research, sorry if our sources are correct, but you were in fact noted as Attorney General from 1984 to 1991. However, there was a gap between 1986 and 1988. So I did some research, and it was in fact your good friend, Misa Telefoni, who somehow sailed in and became Attorney General in those 2 years. I would be in big trouble at Komisi on Sunday if I didn't say these words to you. He wishes to congratulate you and to thank you for your service. He wishes to say that he thinks perhaps those 2 years when you were not there were years that the office missed you. And in fact, he was proud that you took back your place when he moved on to other things. I'm not sure what he did after that, what he did with his career, but that might be in the resources as well. But he wishes you and Auntie Whangai all the very best. The very next year, in 1992, Your Honor returned to take up the position that you still hold until this day, of Chief Justice of Samoa. On top of those accolades, we noted that Your Honor is a proud Marist. You attended Marist Brothers, both primary school and St. Joseph's College. We noted that in both of those particular schools, both the primary and the college, that you were ducks in your final year. Also noteworthy, and I can't produce the exhibits or the pictures at this point because the registrar's not giving me permission, but in fact you were marching in the 50 years anniversary of Marist Brothers, a testament of your spili, of your whamalisi. And I'm sure that the Marist fraternity is proud of your service with you today. I must take this time to thank your good lady, Mulinu'u Sapolu, not the least because she is my auntie and probably tell me off if I did not. bit of a tough room here. Everybody relax. In fact, can you turn to your neighbor and shake hands and say you look beautiful this morning? Come on, oh, that's all right. It's supposed to be a celebration of the service. So, most of the time, we only see the great man, but we never see the great woman, and in fact, the family behind him. The many, many sacrifices that have had to have been made over the years of service. So we thank you, Your Honor, and we thank your good lady and your family for all the years of support through the many, many years of prodigious service. Whatever sacrifices and compromises have had to have been made, is my prayer that the Lord replenish and bless in His infinite blessings. I move now to address the decisions that Your Honor has delivered in my respectful view that has changed our jurisprudence. And these are just some of the highlights that I have in my limited time. In 2004, Your Honor presided over the case of police in Apelu. And these cases are highlighted because of the factual matrix that make them so important to our country. Apelu was a case that concerns the crime of procuring an abortion, which was a controversial issue then and remains so to this day. In 2005, Your Honor presided over the case of police in Rosaloi, the first case concerning the abandonment of a newborn baby. In 2008, Your Honor presided over the police in Bill, which was a case that concerned the sexual assault of one particularly vulnerable victim, a female living with disabilities. In 2007, Your Honor presided over the case of police in Ausunge, which concerned the manslaughter within the context of domestic violence. Your Honor's decision helped develop the jurisprudence regarding how the court should approach these novel criminal factual matrices. Separate from presiding over cases concerning novel criminal activities, Your Honor has presided over some key criminal cases concerning other aspects of our criminal justice system. In terms of police enforcement, Your Honor's decision in Police and Smith in 2003 has informed the jurisprudence regarding the extent of lawful, unlawful, and reasonable search and seizure powers of police. In terms of the sentencing, Your Honor's decision in Police in Faulkner, Police in W in 2007 and 2008 ushered in modern approaches to sentencing. Your Honor's decision in Police in Ulpaoa has been applied with approval in terms of sentencing guidance concerning the fact of a servant, prevalent then as it is now. Additionally, Your Honor's decision in Police in X delivered in 2007 provided guidance in the use of cumulative and concurrent sentences of imprisonment. The said cases are just the tip of the iceberg of your influence in the judiciary. In terms of civil cases, Your Honor's contribution has been numerous and immeasurable. In terms of the case that my office has been involved in, Your Honor's decision in judicial review in terms of the Hunt and Attorney General in 1994 has set the ground for judicial review, especially in relation to the application of the Windusbury unreasonable test here in Samoa. That case is one of the early cases that has been set foundation for our court approaches to judicial review. Building on Hunt, Your Honor presided over other cases involving the MNRE that have brought us to the position we are today. On judicial review remaining there, Your Honor's decision in the case of Samoa Party versus the Attorney General in 2009 was significant in that there was extensive discussion by His Honor of the issue concerning the Constitution, electoral law, and the powers of the court to judicially review decisions concerning the election. Your Your decision in Tafili Lupe and Attorney General 2015 laid the foundation for the establishment of the principle of judicial immunity in our Samoan jurisprudence. The case of Tafili Lupe confirmed the immunity of the court and its judges from suit. It is noted that the case of Tafili Lupe was applied with approval by the Supreme Court and later on by the Court of Appeal in the cases of Woodruff and Fisher and Sapolu and Samoa in 2018, which confirmed immunity for the judges of the Court of Appeal and the District Court. Those decisions, by Your Honor, again, are just highlights of the contribution that you have made to our jurisprudence. In terms of your contribution, Your Honor, to law and justice, under your leadership, you have presided over the various changes in the judiciary. During your tenure, the court has extended to include first the Alcohol and Drugs Court, which was established in February 2016. Then the Coroner's Court, under a new legislation, was refreshed under the Coroner's Act 2017. The Family Court, created under the Family Act 2014. The Family Violence Court, created under the Family Safety Act 2013. The Youth Court, created under the Youth Offenders Act 2007. It can be said, therefore, Your Honor, that your overall contributions to the judicial system of Samoa has in fact improved access to justice for all of Samoa. I make a note of Your Honor's role as the chair of the Program Executive Committee for the Pacific Judicial Development Program, which aims to strengthen governance and the rule of law in Pacific Island countries to enhance access to justice, professional judicial officers who act independently according to legal principles. Lastly, but not least, I note on terms of gender equality, under Your Honor's stewardship, we've seen the appointment of both Samoan and non-Samoan ladies to the bench. And this, Your Honor, is an effort to try and sift through the many aspects of your legacy. You leave behind a diverse bench. You leave behind a bar. My learned friend shall speak to that. That will lift the standard of the service of the court and for our people. It therefore only remains for me to respectfully submit. I thank you for all your hard work and dedication that you have put into the practice of law and in the judiciary, the development of the jurisprudence and upholding justice in our beloved Samoa. Whoever may be the next Chief Justice, he or she will have big shoes to fill in, given your great legacy and the many years of service. I wish you well in your future endeavor. As people of faith, we know we have no blessings that we are able to give you. Only a prayer that the Lord will bless you, that He will bless the seeds of faithfulness in your service. It is days like this that we remember that in Jeremiah, the good Lord says that He knows the plans and the thoughts He has towards you. They are plans for peace. They are plans for hope and not harm. They are plans for an expected end. I pray that the Lord will bless all your years of service to date and bless you and reward you with a mighty harvest for all the seeds of service. You, Mrs. Sapolu, and your family. Paftai Jawasud. May family tu ayatui. My father love. May please go.
I am humbled and deeply honored to speak on behalf of the Samoa Law Society. To offer our congratulations, our sincere gratitude, and our very best wishes to the outgoing Chief Justice of Samoa, His Honor Patu Falefatu Maka Sapolu. Today we congratulate His Honor for a brilliant and distinguished career on the bench. After 27 years of tireless service to the people of this country as the Chief Justice of the Samoa. As the Attorney General has related in his remarks this morning, His Honor has made a profound contribution to the Samoan legal profession through the enormous volume of jurisprudence he has handed down over 2.5 decades. His Honor's contribution to the knowledge and understanding of the law will become a part of his enduring legacy. Today, the Samoa Law Society celebrates a truly remarkable career on the bench. However, today is also an important opportunity for the members of the Samoa Law Society to record our sincere thanks to His Honor for the legacy that he leaves to the profession. As I was preparing for my remarks this morning, I had time to consider the meaning of the term legacy, or at least what it should mean. And I believe the word legacy is best explained in this way. The best legacy is something that one leaves to the people who come after them, to enrich their lives and better enable them to make their community and their society better than it was before. Your Honor, Samoa's jurisprudence will forever be characterized and colored by the knowledge and wisdom you have passionately and carefully handed down during your time on the bench. That will be a huge and enduring part of your legacy. However, when one considers all of the ways in which you have enriched the legal profession and the people in it, then your legacy becomes more than just words on paper. It becomes the members of the Samoa Law Society who have become better at their craft because of your guidance. I would like to mention 3 personal observations that I have made on His Honor, which I am sure will resonate with all of the members of the Law Society. 1, professionalism. All lawyers should approach their work with professionalism. It is an essential characteristic for anyone who takes up this work. Throughout the 27 years of His Honor's tenure, His Honor has shown us firsthand how a consummate professional works. Your professionalism shows in the way that your courtroom has operated like clockwork, on time, day in, day out, without fail, for 27 years. Save for the days on which Your Honor was visibly unable to carry out the duties due to illness. Your professionalism shows in the way Your Honor has carefully, patiently, and diligently considered every issue that has come before you for determination, down to the finest details. Your professionalism has shown in the way that Your Honor has meticulously drafted each and every decision that has been yours to write. We thank you for the shining example of professionalism that you have given to the Law Society. 2, dedication to the calling and to the profession. I trust by now it is well known that His Honor's dedication to and passion for the law is second to none. I personally have always been amazed at the energy with which His Honor pursues legal knowledge and wisdom. What is more remarkable is that this pursuit has never slowed down, despite His Honor's reaching the twilight years of his career and his attainment of the distinction of one of Samoa's leading and most brilliant legal minds. That dedication and passion shines through in the amazing research that His Honor carries out in order to write decisions on new and developing legal issues. Fortunately for the Law Society, His Honor's efforts will now be a part of Samoa's judicial precedents, which will guide transitions into the future. I recall that when I was admitted to the bar in December 2003, on the day of my admission, after making some very heartwarming remarks in the presence of my family, His Honor offered one piece of advice on how to become a good practitioner. Read case reports. I have heard His Honor give the same advice to countless other law graduates at their admission ceremonies. Read case reports. Now, years later, in 2008, His Honor visited the Attorney General's office where I was working to offer a pep talk and some words of encouragement to the lawyers working there. When it was time at the end of the session for questions and answers, one of my colleagues asked the question, how did Your Honor do such thorough research before the internet and before packets? His Honor patiently sat down and looked at all of the lawyers whose ambitions he had just presided over and said, quite matter of factly, I read lots and lots of case reports. So the practice that His Honor has encouraged young lawyers to take up is tried and true. It is the practice that His Honor himself has used to build up his legal knowledge and aid his own development. So all young practitioners, His Honor has always wanted the best to come out of you. If you take His guidance, you will succeed. To be a good practitioner of the law takes more than just intellect. It takes dedication and a passion for learning. We thank you, Your Honor, for being a shining example of those qualities for so many years. Thirdly, and finally, we thank you for your patient encouragement of young and sometimes not so young lawyers in our society. I am certain that if His Honor had $1 for every mistake a lawyer has made in this courtroom, His Honor would be preparing for a very comfortable retirement. In the face of any shortcomings from the bar, His Honor has always put aside his own impeccable standards, and he is focused on nurturing, guiding, and developing the next generation of lawyers. Over the many years of His Honor's tenure, he has been openly encouraging of counsel, hoping always to get the best out of Samoa's practitioners, whether it is in the context of criminal justice, or in civil proceedings, or just understanding practice and procedure. However, I know as well as many of my colleagues that His Honor's patience has always had limits. When the spectacles get pushed down, or God forbid, when he switches to Samoan in open court, then you can be sure that His Honor is about to lay the smackers down in front of all of your friends. Your Honor, your warm words of encouragement have been a mainstay of your time on the bench and hugely touching. If my own experience is anything to go by, then I am sure that most, if not all of our members, have been influenced and encouraged on a personal level by your support from the bench. We thank you for your encouragement and your support of the members in our society over so many years. There are several other observations that I could mention today. However, I was told that today's sitting was scheduled as a half-day fixture, so I will stop here. To sum up, however, I would like to say thank you to Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor, for the wonderful legacy that you leave behind as you vacate the position you have served so faithfully. You are truly an inspiration to all of us. Pese na watu esitasu kaya pese eswafia se yuli mona lisa sabi ali. Kore pese fata tau ile fai gole se umani, kore fai gole fata mani. Kote fia fai tau wina kupole kore kumuli muyo le nekesa. Ona itala fia ngai ma fa mo mo le nekesa. O koi fa fia. Fa ma ro fai o fai ma. O mata ina. O tu ile fama, tu ile tula, tu ile ma. Talia ia lupe o le foanga I le isi tau sama. Ai si I mea le se uma o le tau tai o Samoana. O si I mea le se uma ala o fionga I whamasino sika. Ai lei manatu. E o le muta anga leo lau tau tua I tato tulu. Tatu talia ia lupe o le foanga I aso o tau sama o le. Avea ia nei aso. Ma nei wha moi moi. Se ama noe toi o vai mana o ai lau e o se tiro na tapa. Ai sa o mi le isi fona. Te le nganu a fia isi o na pao. O ai tau tala aso e tau tua le tamata. O le te talo o so sagete. A o mi o Samoa. Ia alufa giena o fionga ma whare tua le atua. I whamanuia le atua I la sama umo le asa o le atua. Ia tuli no ina la o fionga ma la ina. Ke rona ama le leima rona Iesu. Olufanei, Olufanam, Swiftwalk,
When I was sworn in as Chief Justice by the head of state, Leiataualesa, on the 20th of July 1992, at the Government House at Mulinu'u, I beseech our Almighty God for His blessing, His help, and His guidance. And this is a secret I would now disclose. And it is my belief and faith in God that has been my source of strength and inspiration during my tenure of office as Chief Justice, which I believe, contrary to what the registrar has said, will come to an end at midnight tonight. I would therefore like to thank the Almighty for His blessing, help, and guidance during my service to our country as its Chief Justice and head of its judicial. Now, the theme of my address and my swearing in as Chief Justice in 1992 was based on the concluding words of the judicial oath, "So help me God," or in Samoa, in which I acknowledged the need by a judge of divine help in the performance of his or her judicial duties. Interestingly, the day after my swearing in, a student from the Malua Theological College told my mother that the late Reverend Patu Falefatu had stopped their class at Malua to listen in to my swearing in as Chief Justice, which was broadcasted over Radio 2AP. At the end of my swearing in address, Oka said to his class, "Selta nata leo whaamusimusi, sa le te tau na loia, ai sa te tau na kai te au." So if anyone still thinks that I should not have been appointed Chief Justice, then perhaps Reverend Oka Falefatu was right. I should have been a pastor. A path which could have led me to being a defendant in the tax proceedings. I think what our people do not know is that many judges around the common law world are men and women with profound faith in God and strong Christian moral principles, even though they are not members of the clergy. Many lawyers know of Lord Denning, the master of the rolls, perhaps the greatest English judge of the last century. Denning once said that the most tattered book in his library is not a statute, not a legal textbook, but his Bible. I am also grateful to you, Mr. Attorney General, and Mr. President of the Samoan Law Society, for the kind words and blessings you have spoken for me today. I feel greatly honored, but I must say this to you. This is another secret I am now going to disclose before I depart. Lematausa, wakuma ona fai ya laufeame maliatu. A mai ona fai sengante. Ia toe whaafu ile di inga i te tu. Ai whaapea oe, whaapea ifo oia. Wana o wako lava o se au auna lea o na. So, I do not think, Mr. Attorney and Mr. President, that I deserve the kind remarks that you have made for me this morning. There is someone about me that the glory and praise be to him. Now, before I came onto the bench as Chief Justice, I have been at the bar for about 15 years and was Secretary for Justice, as Mr. Attorney General had rightly pointed out, and Registrar of the Courts for 1 year. During that time, I was appointed on several occasions as a temporary magistrate, now called District Court Judge, and as acting Chief Justice during my second term as Attorney General. So I have, in the course of my legal career, spent much more time on the bench as a judicial officer than at the bar as a legal practitioner. When appointed as Chief Justice, I was already aware of the legal needs of our country. Foremost was the need to develop the jurisprudence of our country, as our law, particularly our civil law, was underdeveloped at that time in many areas and undeveloped in several others. I was also conscious of the need to maintain the common law tradition of judicial independence and judicial impartiality, which are essential to sustaining the democratic form of government which our forefathers had chosen to adopt and embody in our Constitution. It also occurred to me, given the circumstances at the time of my appointment as Chief Justice, that if I did not succeed as Chief Justice, it may become difficult to appoint another Samoan as Chief Justice when it is time for me to step down. So I was in no doubt about the importance and magnitude of the task that I had accepted. But with my faith in God and the trust and confidence of Tofilao, our then Prime Minister, in me, I was confident that I was on solid ground to take up the challenge offered to me. And I hope I have gone some way towards meeting the legal needs of our country. Now I wish to express my sincere gratitude to all of you who have helped me and the judiciary in the last 26 years and 9 months. Unfortunately, there are so many of you, and time does not allow me to make special mention of each and every one of you. I have to be selective. Now I wish to thank my wife, Mulinu'u, for standing by me during all these years I've been Chief Justice of our country. She has had to put up with me during all this time while I devoted nearly all of my time and energy to my judicial work. I thank her for a patience, love, and unfailing support. I would also like to thank our former Prime Minister, the Honorable Leiataualesa, for the trust and confidence he placed in me by appointing me as Chief Justice. I had no wish or aspiration for judicial office, and I want to make that clear, because there was a number of people at the time of my appointment who thought otherwise. I say now, I had no wish or aspiration for judicial office. So when Tofilau asked me in April 1992 to take up appointment as Chief Justice, it took me several weeks to think about what the old man wanted. I consulted with my mother and my brothers and sisters and prayed for divine guidance. It was after that that I decided to accept appointment as Chief Justice. I am deeply grateful to Tofilau for his trust and confidence in me by giving me the opportunity to be of service to our country through the office of Chief Justice. I hope Tofilau's trust and confidence was not misplaced, and that I have measured up to his hopes and expectations. I also wish to thank the Honorable Prime Minister Leiataualesa for all the assistance and good things that he had done for me as Chief Justice and for the judiciary over the years. Particularly this magnificent courthouse, which was a historic step forward for the administration of justice in our country. The Honorable Leiataualesa had also extended the retirement age for judges of the Supreme Court from 62 to 68 years. I also thank the Honorable Prime Minister and the government for the assistance and support provided for the establishment of the specialist courts, the family court, the family violence court, the alcohol and drugs court, and the coroner's court. While the Honorable Naomi was Minister of Justice. Together with the youth court that was established in 2007, Samoa now has the most developed system of specialist courts amongst the Pacific Island countries. I am also thankful to the Honorable Minister of Justice, Falefatu Maka, the Honorable Associate Minister of Justice, and the Commissioner of Police. Your presence today is a great honor and compliment for me. I would also express my sincere gratitude to my former and current sister and brother judges in the Supreme Court, District Court, and Land and Titles Court who have supported and stood by me over the years. Your support, kindness, and loyalty were always a pillar of strength for me. I am also grateful to members of the bar and the legal profession. I am greatly touched and honored by your presence today. Thank you for the courtesy and patience with which you have treated me as Chief Justice during my tenure of office. I know that the quality of legal work at the bar has improved significantly over the years. This is a very encouraging development, as it is from the bar that our future judges will be appointed. I urge you to continue improving the quality of your legal work. Excellence can only be sustained by relentless improvement. I would also take this opportunity to record my deep gratitude to the present and past registrars, deputy registrars, judges associates, registry and administrative staff, and court officers for the unfailing courtesy and support you have given me and the courts in the last 26 years and 9 months. Some of you have often had to spend long hours after work and even during weekends to prepare court files, transcripts of evidence, court lists, mentions lists, court overs, judges' schedules, and sometimes translations of the evidence for the Court of Appeal. Many people do not know that a court is much more than its judges. Without the assistance of the registrar, deputy registrars, judges associates, registry and administrative staff, and court officers, the judges would be quite incapable of administering justice on any terms. You are the unsung heroes behind the scene. My special thanks to my associate, Alisa Yuan, and my official driver, Koria, for your courtesy and unstinting service to me over the last 15 years. I am also very grateful to the present and past commissioners of police and members of the police force for all the assistance and support you have given me and the courts over the years that I have been Chief Justice and Chairman of the Prisons Parole Board. We have had a long working relationship that goes back 43 years, when I started off in 1976 in the Office of the Attorney General as a prosecutor for police cases. I have always highly valued our working relationship and the assistance the police had given to me and the courts. I have also often said that the world is never at a standstill. It is always turning. I am therefore conscious that I cannot afford to be at a standstill myself. I have had my day as Chief Justice, so I am happy to be moving on. Thank you again to you all who have gathered here today for the honor you have done me by your presence. I hope it will not be out of tune for me to conclude by saying, as St. Paul once said in the second book of Timothy, chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, and I quote, I fought a good fight. I finished the race. I have kept the faith. End of quote. God bless Soif.
the